Hello there, everybody. Hello, YouTube. I am Drak, and this is my Let's Play of Final Fantasy II for the PlayStation. And wow, we're already into some action.
You've come a long way from Finn, but you've nowhere to run.
Well, plenty of places to run.
Firion!
No escape! By Imperial order, all who defy us shall be put to death! You've brought this upon yourselves. You peasants never learn, do you?
Okay, so there's a little bit of exposition right there. We're peasants? The intro didn't really look it like that, but okay. Oh, maybe we are peasants. Holy moly, that's a lot of numbers. Oh boy. You are the Black Knight, and indeed you do triumph. What just happened? We're in a Final Fantasy game and we lost! Yeah, that does happen. Usually because of plot convenience. Welcome everybody to this Let's Play of Final Fantasy II for the PlayStation. Once again, I am Drak, and let's get to the story, shall we? Hope you guys enjoyed the intro cutscene and my horrible dialogue. Will he survive, Mindu? Look, here's some more. Yes, Your Highness. He should regain consciousness in no time. I feel very strong energy in him. That is good. On the retreat out of Finn, I found him and the other two lying in their own blood. Wow. We should leave him for now. This magic sigil will strengthen his life force. You guys will see why I give him that voice. Thank you, Mindu. That is wonderful. Well, let's join the others. They must be waiting for us. Once the Empire completes the Dreadnought in Bafsk, it may well launch all-out war. We must move quickly. Okay, I'm just going to preface this right here now, because this one can be compared a lot to a certain movie franchise. So I'm going to say it a couple of times. Where am I? Sorry, guys, I don't have Johnny Young Bosch's voice, for those who have played Dissidia. Where's everyone else? Leon! Maria! Gus! I'm sorry, but Gus is the throw-off for this whole party. I don't know why. Alright, guys, so this is Firion, and these are his two buddies, Maria and Gus. Firion, I'm so glad you're alive. I thought I'd... Maria! Gus! Where's Leon? We're sorry, he's dead.
Finn Princess saved us. But Leon not here.
Get used to this. That's just Gus's dialogue, guys. I see. I'm sure he's fine. Alright, and so, again, I'm going to preface this. This is going to get compared to a certain movie franchise a lot. Star Wars! That's okay. I see you have regained your strength. Your Highness, please allow us to join the rebel forces. Nonsense. You would only waste your lives in the war. You must go home at once. But, Your Highness, we no longer have homes, and our parents, they're... Oh, I'm very sorry for your losses. You are welcome to stay in Altair. You need only know our secret code to enter. Okay, so we're about to get introduced to one of the cool cool features of this game. The password is Wild Rose, don't forget. So now what we can do is we can memorize terms. And now we can ask her about it, and she will say something. The Wild Rose is Finn's crest, strong and beautiful as she once was. But now, oh, what will become of Finn? I hear captives are being gathered in Finn. Speaking of which, Maria's brother has been reported missing. Perhaps he is being held in Finn. Monsters prowl the city now, so even approaching it is dangerous. Yes, there's a lot of exposition missing. I'll explain it later. I see your destiny. It is intertwined with mine. You must go to Finn. It will lead to your destined path. So, you've been using the password, have you? Continue doing so. It can unseal the lips of many who would not otherwise offer it. Okay, so here's kind of a little bit of exposition dump right on you, because the intro doesn't really explain this. What you just saw in the intro is their hometown. I believe it is Finn, but I don't think it's ever said. But Firion, Maria, Gus, and Maria's brother Leon who you saw in the intro, they were fleeing from being taken over by the Palamecian Empire. And so that's pretty much the basis of the game, is we are going to join the rebel forces to help them defeat Palamecia. And by the way, this is Pavel. He's a thief of all thieves, apparently, and kinda looks like a little sprite ninja. I just want to point that out. He actually is kind of a traveling salesman, but he'll come in handy later. Now, I'm just gonna preface this right here and now, guys. I don't really like this game. This is not my favorite of the Final Fantasy games. It's not that it's horrible, the story's actually pretty good. The gameplay is really what bothers me, and you'll see why in a little bit. I know I'm not speaking with a dialogue, but these are characters that you'll get to know later. Specifically, this is Gordon. He's actually the prince of the kingdom of Cassione, which has been conquered by Palamecia. Again, are you starting to see the Star Wars comparisons here? It is very similar in the fact that Palamecia is the Empire. Ba, 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 ba. And we are the Rebel Forces. And there really is kind of like 4 Luke Skywalkers. I'm just saying. Actually, I guess more along the lines of Furion would be Luke, Maria would be Leia, Gus... sounds mean, but I don't want to call Gus Han Solo, because he kind of isn't. He's a big brute, and so he would be more like Chewbacca. If anything, your 4th compatriot in the intro, Leon, would probably be Han Solo. But he's kind of a weird character, and we'll get to him when he comes up. Because, yes, I'm spoiling it for you guys right here now. He's not dead. Okay, and then also you can see there still is a magic shop. Scrolls are pretty expensive. The reason being is that you can teach them to any character. You can equip any weapon to any character. This is one of the things that I don't really like, is that you can go into this and see all the numbers. You actually train the stats individually. And that is a pain in some cases, because certain actions will only level up this certain trait. So for example, your HP can only be leveled if you're getting hit and you are like near death. So in order for us to be able to level up our HP, we actually have to kind of nearly kill ourselves over and over again in order to get our HP up. So grinding is especially difficult. And I'm actually going to go into this right now. So for people who have not watched my Final Fantasy Let's Plays, I'm going to reiterate this. I do not do the grinding on camera. I love you guys dearly, but that's a lot of ground to cover, especially in games like these, where it's just a grind fest. And I just don't see the point of putting that on camera for you. It's not entertaining. It's actually, especially in this game, it is extremely complex. Now here's another interesting trait. Pretty much every item in the game can be bought. It's just that sometimes, like in the case of the elixir, they have horrendous price tags. But you can, if you want, put in an inventory full of elixirs if you want to do that. Because one of the other traits that I don't like in this game is a very limited inventory. So you could deck out your inventory full of elixirs, you're fine with that, but that's not going to amount to much. And obviously we can see there is a major change to the overworld already. And here is combat for the first time. Oh. Now, unlike Final Fantasy, this does not allow for up to 9 enemies at a time. This, at most, will allow for 8. Still, that's a pretty big number, so, you know, I have a feeling you'll still enjoy it. Now, I just ran for that encounter. That probably won't happen ever. Now, I did say that I was taking grinding out, but if, like, we're on the way to a plot-crucial part of the story, I'm not going to take the combat out there. So, you'll still have that at the very least. And people will kind of notice that I'm playing battle really, really weird. That's because I'm trying to level things as we go along. It's best to just keep trying to level the stats. That way, maybe a grind session can be less, and I can get more material out for you guys. But in the meantime, this also wasn't very clearly stated, but Princess Hilda, who's the head of Altair and the Rebellion, she's wanting you to go to the town of Finn. Because supposedly your 4th compatriot, Leon, might still be there being held prisoner. Okay, so we're going there. But in the meantime, we're going to take a stop over to the town of Gatrea. and just see if they got any new weapons that we can use. Not really. If people are kind of wondering how I'm going to be setting up the characters, I usually do it this way. I kind of treat Firion like a paladin, in a way. So I will arm him with like a sword and a shield and basically make him the healer. For Maria, she's got a fairly high intelligence, so I always make her my black mage. And for Gus, he's brute, as you can kind of tell with his dialogue. He's just brute strength. So I might as well just hand him 2 weapons. Oh, by the way, you can dual wield in this game. That's kind of cool. So it's just best with Gus to hand him the weapons and go nuts. Just have him destroy anything in your path. I'm trying to think if I missed anything. Sorry, this was like kind of a crash course deal because I didn't want to speak in the middle of the intro, but at the same time, the intro doesn't explain a whole lot. But yeah, that should give you kind of the plot synopsis here for the moment. Is we're on our way to Fynn to see if Leon actually survived the attack that we were running from, and we're also trying to join the rebellion. We want to help Princess Hilda beat the Empire of Palamecian, so that we can, so the world can be free, so to speak. Now, if I start making Star Wars comparisons from here on in, you know why, because you've already kind of heard it. This is a Star Wars story in a fantasy setting. And I will say, graphics-wise, I don't hate... The reason I hate this game, guys, is not for any other reason than the leveling up system. I thought it was tedious. I thought it was not worth it by any stretch. Not for the amount of effort that you have to go for it. I will say that it's not the only game that got leveling wrong. There will be a few other examples later down the road. But the story is still fairly worth it. It's not one of the best storylines, but it's still okay. It's a Star Wars story. How can you go wrong with that? Well, if you do it horribly wrong, you can. This is thankfully not one of those examples. But in the meantime, you kind of get to sit here and go, watch me tweak with the system. That's the other thing that bothers me about the gameplay system. It is easily able to be manipulated. So people are kind of noticing that I'm picking targets and I'm readjusting orders for Firion. It's because if I target somebody with a spell in my party, it still counts as experience. So I'm doing that. People can call me a cheater if they want, but really, in my experience of playing this game, you can't not do it. You cannot not level your... I know I keep on saying that, but you have to do it. Otherwise, you don't level up. Things take forever, and you don't get anywhere in the story. Hence one of the reasons why I don't like this kind of a system. And people might actually point out to me, well, the later games did it. Not really. Not this badly. Not where it was easily able to be manipulated right down to the simple stat. There are systems like it, but they're not that easy to do. And people can see you also have to level your spells. That's why I'm targeting people with them. So that's kind of the other downside, because I've got to level the spells, but at the same time I've got to cast spells so that I can level up MP. But enough of that. So now we are in the town of Fynn, and you can see the Empire's here. Da, 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 da. I really gotta just put that in this game. And right now we are trying to go into a building that isn't Empire infested. And you can see with all the guards, we probably can't take them right now. If you guys remember, the Black Knights kind of ripped us a new one. Not gonna lie. When they're hitting for like 600 and I think we didn't have 100 HP at the time, but we had like 50? That's a little overkill. But it just so happens that we can go into the pub in the back of town, and ooh, look, it has no guard. We can enter. Oh crap! Bunch of guards! No! Let's start. Bartender's okay, right? Hey, you don't come past the counter. But I did. What are you going to do about it? I tell you, the Imperial soldiers got no courtesy whatsoever. Wild Rose. There's a secret door in this wall. Inside the room is an injured soldier that I've been taking care of. He's in your charge now. See, that's one of the cool things about the memorization system, is all of a sudden you get this change of dialogue. It's kind of sad this was never used in another game, the dialogue system. Probably because it didn't catch on very well. And here's our little soldier. If you intend to sell me to the Emperor, kill me. You're not taking me alive. Alright, ask about the Wild Rose. Oh, you're rebels, are you? I am Scott, Prince of Cassillon. Okay, so now we've met Gordon's brother. You're Prince Scott? We heard you were killed in combat. Yes, I am, but my strength is fading. I have a favor to ask. Deliver a message to my brother Gordon. Tell him that he has all the makings of a great leader. He should believe in himself, instead of whining. And tell the King of Fynn that Count Borgin serves the Empire now. That traitor is the reason for Finn's downfall. And to Hilda, my love will be with her always. No, don't tell her that. I'm a dying man. She should find another love. Wow, these are kind of deep words, right? Your Highness, do you know a man named Leon? He is my brother. I am sorry, but I don't. Please take this ring. It should prove useful. Okay, so people were wondering about the third option. I'll explain that in a second. Oh, how tired I am. Please, let me rest now. Okay, guys, get used to death. Death happens a lot in this game, too. You'll actually have a lot of fourth-party members, and you'll have some casualties along the way. They're trying to show the casualties of war, and it's kind of effective, but kind of not. So people might have also noticed, when we have the dialogue options, we also have a third option for items. You can present items like this ring and have more dialogue, which will lead to other keywords that you have to memorize. So what this is the ring to Cassillon, to which now I have to tell Gordon his parting messages. We don't tell Hilda anything he said. With the ring, I think we actually present it to Hilda. Now, the other thing that isn't really explained in this story very well is another reason we need to care about Scott is that he actually was betrothed to Hilda at one point. I believe he was. It was either him or Gordon that was betrothed to Hilda. And so that makes... Yeah, okay. It would make sense for him, because he was saying, I'm a dying man. I had to think that through. Oh, Drak flub on the fly. Scott was betrothed to Hilda, so that's why he's basically saying, you know, she needs to live her life, and near, far, wherever you are. There you go. Can't believe I referenced a Leonardo DiCaprio movie in this Let's Play. I feel a little dirty inside. But now we're making our way back to the Kingdom of Altair to report back to the rebels and hopefully show Hilda that since we snuck into Fynn and got the information from Scott, we are able to be worthwhile members of the rebellion. Because after all, we have to find Leon, and we also want to get our revenge on Palamecian for destroying our hometown. Because now our parents are dead, everybody we know is dead. We even have to consider Leon as kind of a casualty because we don't know where he is. And of course, we have to go through the process of leveling and killing at the same time. So while we're making our way back to Altair, one of the questions that people might be asking for me is, we just had a console launch. Did you buy one? I've said it before. I'm not going to go too much into it. No, I didn't. I have no intention of buying one right off the bat. There aren't enough launch titles to get me interested. So, besides, all the places that I'm aware of are, I think, out of PS4s. And if I was going to buy one, then I would buy a PS4. I like Killer Instinct and all, and I have liked some of the footage that I've seen on YouTube come up, but Killer Instinct is just not enough for a console for me. Not a $500 console. Especially when I'd have to go buy characters, buy costumes. I only get tutorial on one character, and all the characters are different. So that just... it doesn't work for me. I'd probably go the PS4 route, but unfortunately all the places that I'm aware of near me are out of PS4s. I was kind of surprised. I was also kind of surprised that I've seen some of the reviews coming out, and the one game that I was interested in on PS4 has not been getting the best reviews, and that was Knack. So I'm kind of wondering if when I get one, do I get Knack, or do I just skip it? And I'll probably just get it, because sometimes I agree with reviewers, sometimes I don't. Especially in cases of, like, Final Fantasy games, at least the most recent ones. I've agreed with some of the reviews, but not all of them. Okay, and so now we are... literally, random encounters. Right as we're walking into Altair to report to Hilda, this is what happens. Alright, can we kill these guys already? Thank you. I do like the fact you run across the field when things are done. That was an interesting idea. Okay, so now we're making our way into Altair to report to Hilda. No, and for the record, no, I'm not going to call it Altair. I know I'm playing Assassin's Creed games, but I don't call it that. Altair is a character, Altair is a town. Sorry, guys. And for some reason, I thought that this was the way to Hilda's chamber, and I'm an idiot. What can I say? Okay, so we're now back with Hilda. The password is Wild Rose, don't forget. So at this point, we show her the ring. That ring. It's Scott's, isn't it? Is he alive? We met the prince in Finn, but after he gave us this ring, his strength gave out, and... so he gave it to you before he died. Did he say anything? No, Your Highness, nothing. See, we're honoring Scott's promise. Your Highness, please keep the ring. No, it should remain with you. It belongs with someone of valor. So you managed to infiltrate Finn and return safely. I underestimated you. Perhaps you can help us. We need someone to find Mithril, the enchanted metal. Okay, so now we've been given our first assignment. Now we need to figure out how to get Mithril for the rebellion. But we are going to go ahead and start up that quest next time. So sit back and relax for the week, and then next week we start up our quest for Mithril right here on Drak 2, on the Let's Play of Final Fantasy II. I am Drak. We'll see you next week.